Yeah.
I have waited a long time to talk to Mike Farris. He's even though we've only been in the same spot on the planet at the same time, and that's the Edmonton Folk Festival. I got that photo around somewhere, and we were both working, but it was so great, and I knew that if I lived anywhere near you, we'd be friends. Um, Welcome to Mulligan Stew.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Terry. So good to see you.
Now I waited. I mean, you, I tried to approach you for this interview too late, actually, in the whole process because you kicked it off, and as soon as I saw there was a kickoff date, I knew there was no way I was getting there. So I just sat down and waited for something to happen, and you got in touch. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it really much. How was the kickoff to the Sound of Muscle Shoals?
Really great. Um, it's been first off, it's great to go down to Muscle Shoals and do a record with those guys who we've been friends for so many years, um, and to have waited to have waited this long to put a record out,
Yeah.
and to have the record that I feel is the best album I've ever made is it's a thrill. It really is. I mean, and it's a relief, because like I said, we tried to make this record for a long time, and so it's finally out, and we're really really proud of it.
You know, he said the guy asking the questions. You could have done this in Nashville and saved yourself a whole bunch of trouble and time at home and stuff and this, like that.
Well, I would argue that
Hmm.
I don't think I could have made this record anywhere else. This the way it came about, um, the way Rodney Hall at Fame reached out and offered to help make the record. Um, the guys in the room making the music in legendary Fame Studios, and then you know as much as Nashville's my home, man, but the uh, but I don't think I could have made this record in Nashville. I really don't. I I had to go down there to make the best record I've ever made. There's
It makes perfect sense when I hear the chords ease on for one, just right off the top of the show, but Slow Train, which was recorded by the Staple Singers at Muscle Shoals and Roebuck's everything you laid it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I think I think maybe every record I've done seems to have a Staples song, a pop song on it. And then, you know, with this album, I was, it was about a convergence of all of my influences, kind of finally learning to play together, right? And so, um, I always turn to Pops and Mavis, and that song was actually written by William Bell and Steve Cropper,
Yeah.
and and recently in the last few years I've gotten to be friends with Steve and his wife, and yeah, it's just that is one of the most beautiful intros to a song, and it has its own spirit, that intro, and it really does, and and the guys down there, Kelvin, Holly, and Will McFarland, they nailed it. They nailed everything on the record. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you like that.
Oh, I love that. Let me play that. Um, Mike Farris has joined me. The name of this album is The Sound of Muscle Shoals, which is kind of, I mean, we could have a discussion for the next 30 minutes on the sound of Muscle Shoals, but we got to get on to the album itself. But truly, it has a place in music history that is you can meet somebody from another part of the world, but as soon as they mention Muscle Shoals, you have something in common.
Yes,
It's the music that came from it.
yeah, it's amazing how I'm so glad that Rick Hall that they did the documentary on Muscle
Yeah,
Shoals,
yeah,
because
yeah.
really up until then, um, it had kind of gotten lost. And Memphis has they have always, because of Elvis and blues and Stax and all that, uh, their place was set, but Muscle Shoals kind of got lost a little bit there. And now, man, like you said, if you go around the world, um, everybody knows about it. The thing, and when we were recording the record, Terry, they do throughout the day. We have to stop recording and allow for these
Tours.
tourists to come through, and they do a tour of the thing, and they make so much money off of these things, they can't not do it. And so, yeah, and every day there's people from all over the world making a pilgrimage down to Muscle Shoals to see.
So I asked the question, Mike, what was it like to finally get in the room with those guys? What came over you?
Um, so first time I recorded down there was a few years ago they did a tribute album called Muscle Shoals
Yep,
Small Town Big Sound.
remember that.
And I did a thing with Blind Boys of Alabama, and sang everything live on the floor, just like Wilson Pickett did, and Etta James and Aretha and so forth. And so going back down there and working on this record, and my relationship with those guys, like we've all known each other now for almost 20 years, and we've been trying to do a record together for as long as that. And when you walk into that room, it just feels like home to me. And
Hmm.
it's the whole vibe down there is laid back. It's more about we're going to take our time and work out the songs, work out the parts, work out a hook, or whatever. And the, like that's why I say I don't think I could have made this record anywhere else. When you go down there to make music, it it takes you back to where music making began. It was like it's a very organic thing.
Because the business is not like that now. You can record anywhere. You can record on your freaking laptop.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
not the same. It's not the same thing. Not when you're doing this.
not at all, not at all. And those guys in the room with me with these songs, it in that environment in Muscle Shoals, it colored everything. Just the room itself colored everything on the record. Yeah, we're just getting started. Me and those guys, we're just getting started.
Because then you have to go out and find a band to recreate this music because they're busy. They can't go. That's too expensive to get those guys out of the studio. So that's fun in itself. That's good. You gonna take a horn section with you?
No, we're not taking horns so much these days. We got basically the the band. Did we cut out?
And I don't know if you can also get Wendy Bowden to come out of studios because she's on the new Taj Mahal Kev Mo album.
Yeah, yeah. To me, I think Wendy has one of the greatest tones of any singer in the world today. I mean, she talking about color, man. She can color
Yeah.
a song, and yeah, she's really special. Yeah.
You know what? Mike Farris, by the way. I don't want to get this lost because we'll talk about all the music and everything, but I don't want to get. I want to get something in right here off the top. This is your best writing you've ever done, and you've written some incredible songs. But these guys, Bright Lights, Sunset Road, we'll get to that. Um, Ease on, Heavy on the Humble. Uh, I love the fact that the one song that you covered with Tom Petty is Swinging. I love that. Bird in the Rain, Slow Train. Slow Train. Let's stop at Slow Train for a second, just for a second, because uh, it's my favorite that's the one that I keep playing over and over and over again. Before there was you and I. Now that's a very personal song.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a song that I've never written anything remotely like that song, and uh, and I wrote it. When I get in writing mode, I'm usually up around 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and I just grab my coffee and I get to work, and everybody's I'm trying to be quiet because I'm in the kitchen, and then that morning I wrote this thing before the sun came up, and I was like so excited, waiting on Julie to wake up because I wanted to show her this crazy song that it just came out of nowhere. And it was so different from anything I wrote. And I was like, which made me think, well, maybe this is not good. I don't know. So, but you know what, Terry, that thing has, every time we played that song live, it gets a response immediately. As
Because
soon as,
because people see themselves in the song.
yeah, yeah, we get standing over. That thing is batting 1,000. We every time we perform it, we get a standing ovation, and it's one of the favorite songs on the record. Yeah.
Has your audience changed with this album, do you think?
Uh,
Maybe it's too early to tell, but this is expansive.
it is, and you know, in 2015, I won a Grammy for "Shine for All the People,"
Sure.
and after that, I felt like this is a good time. I'd been on this the spiritual music for a good while there, and I was like, this may be a good time to pivot, and so I kind of pivoted back. I mean, everything that I do is spirit filled to me.
Of course.
I mean, it just has to be, and so you know, but you're right. I mean, I think this record is expansive. Um, I feel like for the first time, really in my life, it's the music is it's starting to really kind of shape up and become a thing. Finally, like it's my thing. That may be good and bad. I'm not sure because because I don't have there's no real category for me. I mean, I feel like a real misfit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't put a category on you. Your voice goes through my heart. It's as simple as that. Uh,
Thank you.
I have a two-part question. Let me see if I can remember it. Uh, how did you survive yourself? And what song on this album tells that tale?
Uh, First, the second question is learning to love.
Okay.
That was one that it was tough to write, um, and 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 yeah, you find the the beauty of finally giving up. Like I'm in recovery, but the thing about it is that surviving it, people go, well, how's it feel to hit rock bottom? And I go, rock bottom is incredible. It's dangling just inches above for so long, hanging there. That's what kills you. And because you really want to hit rock bottom, and start the process of climbing out. And the way I overcame it was the last time I went through it, I sat down with my wife like I always had, and when I'd try to get clean. Is she came to me, Terry, and she said, "We're going to do something different this time." And this was about 3 weeks into me trying to get a grip on my life and get myself together. And she said, "We're going to do something different this time," and that scared the hell out of me. I'm like, "What?" Because the last thing you want to do is dig below the surface, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, "Well, what's that?" what do you have in mind? And she said, we're going to get down to the whys. Why? All the whys. Why do you self-destruct? Why do you, when things get good for you, that you tend to burn it everything to the ground?
Yeah.
Why is this pattern? So we're going to get to that. And we did. And it changed the trajectory of my life. Just her posing that to me. And things it sparked a new journey in my life that it continues to get more and more beautiful, and it's a process of discovery, and it's, and if you're crazy enough to go through that, it's an amazing journey. It really is.
You're so happy. Actually, you're so lucky that you have songwriting as an escape, because it pulls you along. You go with the song. You don't just write it and send it off. You live it. You sing it. You sing it every night.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. I'm just going to be candid, but it's I, sometimes I wonder, like, how important is it? I feel like it is to do the things and sing the things about the human condition. I'm just sharing my story, really, and but it's the world is so full of, like, I don't want to be judgmental, sound like the old man on the porch, but there's so much musical noise, I guess, and it's just not my thing. Most stuff is not my thing, and but I don't know. I don't know. I, I guess I'm saying there's fewer people who are interested in that, I think, than than otherwise, I guess. But
They're finding you. You know that. They find you. They find you. Each one of
yeah,
us finds you in our own way. And that's why I was so wanting to do this interview, to let people know who didn't know who you are and what you do and what you make, what you create.
well, thank you for that, Terry. I appreciate it.
Uh, when's the last time you cried on stage?
I do it a lot. I do. I do it a lot. Um, I'll probably do it. I'll probably average nowadays, probably like one every 7 shows. I'll be I'll be broke down. Something, and it can be just you're reliving these moments sometimes,
Sure.
and when you're singing them, but also, like, man, I'll start crying during Sunset Road, something that's making me so happy and giving me so much joy, and that's just the spirit moving in you, and 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 yeah, it's people come up to me and they'll tell me that, oh man, you made me cry, and I'm like, good, that's good, that's good. But they also laugh too, and then and had all the emotions. So that's that. I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else, really.
I guess Bright Lights, Mike, is about you in New York and how you got away from the life that you're living now. Am I reading something into that?
Uh, yeah, maybe. That's why you kind of want to stray away from telling too much
That
on
is true. No,
stage
you're
sometimes.
absolutely right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what your interpretation means what it means to you, and but it really, for me, I will tell you what my view of it is, I guess. But it was I started that song actually in Penticton, BC.
At the Dream Cafe.
Yeah, yeah. Julie and I were road tripping around one afternoon, and I came up with this idea. And for a long time, all I had was the chorus. For years, for 5 or 6 years, all I had was the chorus. And it's the last song I wrote on this record, and it was written in my mind as a rock tune, like a mid-tempo rock song. And I had the music for it and everything, and it would not allow me any further. And then right at the very end of the writing process, I was like, man, I want to write this song. And I pulled it out and I said, you know what? I'm just going to like allow whatever possibilities, whatever this song wants to be, I'm going to let it tell me what it wants. And in a day or two, I started plucking around with this folk country thing, and the song wrote itself in 10 minutes. I'm like, holy shit, this is, it didn't want to be a rocker. It wanted to be this. But you have to kind of like, you have to open yourself up to all the possibilities and let that thing happen. But the song was really about, it was really kind of a peek behind the veil of the business of music, you know, and how it's tough, you know, and you got to be a little bit crazy to do what we do, and to have the fortitude to carry it out and continue
Yeah.
when everything around you is saying, stop, go somewhere. This is not good. But it's and yeah, so it's a lonely place sometimes, and it's really heartbreaking at times, and but you know what, like the song ends, it's like I wouldn't do anything else.
Well, you've never had a second job.
Never.
You did
Never.
no post office, no packing boxes, nothing.
No, I got
Newspaper. You didn't deliver a newspaper?
no.
Okay.
No.
All right, let me take you back to Muscle Shoals and the Sound for just a second, because that's the name of the album if you hadn't known. Dylan, Stones, Aretha, Wilson Pickett, Etta, Willie, Dwayne Allman, Cocker, Levon Helm, Paul Simon, the Staple Singers, Rod Stewart, Stay With Me, Black Keys, Loan Me a Dime, Boz Skaggs, and Dwayne Allman. Loan Me a freaking dime.
Yeah.
12 minutes long. And the only one left is David Hood, who
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of interviewing here on the island,
Yeah. And Spooner.
and Spooner. And
Yeah.
Spooner, of course, laid out those keyboard and organ lines for Aretha,
Yeah.
changed the whole thing.
Yeah. Launched her career.
Yeah.
Launched that career.
In that moment.
Yeah. Sure did.
Man.
Yeah.
So it's R&B, it's soul, it's country. New York Times called the Muscle Shoals sound Indigenous American music.
Yeah. That's about the best definition of that as I can imagine.
So I'd be interested in knowing what was the first song that got to your head and your heart and you realized it was Muscle Shoals, or you found out later it was Muscle Shoals.
Oh man, the first one. You know what? The first one uh, that I recall was "Loves Me Like a Rock," Paul Simon.
Paul Simon.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was a kid and I heard that song, and that song brought me so much joy. And and uh, and to hear those guys singing the backgrounds on that, man, it was. You never heard anything like that.
No.
It was black gospel quartet music
Yep.
on pop radio.
Yep.
That was unbelievable. And yeah, that to this day, man, I hear that song and I go, I just get happy.
We all get happy.
Yeah.
The session didn't go well, but it turned out the record turned out really well, really well. They took a while to get that fit, because he came in saying, this is what I need, and this is what we got. So let's meet in the middle somewhere. You know?
I got to hear that story.
Oh, it's a big story. Both the sessions that happened there. Oh yes. Oh yeah. What did I want to ask you about? Right, I just Ease On. God, I just love the way that it just eases on. I love the first 16 bars. I was hooked before there was a vocal. I loved it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of those guys, man. That was the first song we recorded, Terry, and as soon as we hit it,
wow,
I went, "This is going to be amazing." they just naturally, they understand my music love language, man. They understand that, and so we make this great group, man. And and I have to mention Clayton Ivy on
Yeah.
uh, on keys. Now Clayton was the second generation of the Fame gang, right? And or the Fame crew, the
Swampers.
Swampers or whatever you want to call it. And we had, and I'd always been around Clayton, but I'd never, it was always doing shows and stuff like that. Here we are in a studio working with Clayton, and and man, that first off, that guy's played on a ton of hits, and he's country as cornbread. That old man is as country as it gets, man. He showed up the first day. We've been working from 10 to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Kelvin Holly hollers out to Clayton. He said, "Clayton, where's your teeth?" And Clayton's like, "I don't know. I think he couldn't find his teeth, so he just shows up and he left them in a cushion, couch cushion or something. And so he just shows up without his teeth all day, and then showed up the next day, still couldn't find his teeth. But that guy is a musical genius, and I don't use that term lightly. I don't throw it around. He's a genius.
Give me a moment on the album that shows that.
It's really he's really consistent on what he does throughout the whole record, and what he does is he does very little.
Yeah.
The guy can play anything from the American Songbook. He can turn around and play, tell you all about Oscar Peterson and whatnot. The guy can play anything, and you can look at like Swinging, the Tom Petty tune.
Sure.
He went in and sat down on piano because we had to overdub the piano, and he sat down and played this thing. And in my mind, I'm such a Petty fan and a oh crap, Petty's keyboard player, uh,
Mike Campbell?
not Mike Campbell. My God, I know the guys like the back of my hand.
Yes.
Uh,
It'll,
that kills me.
it'll
But
come
anyway,
at 4 a.m.
right. But in my mind, I was still kind of clinging to the idea of that guy, his style of piano playing on rock and roll records, which is incredible. And so I was still kind of hanging on to that idea for that approach.
Yep.
And Clayton went in and he gave me that without me. I didn't want to say anything to him, and he gave me that in his version, man. And it's just the perfect little nice little flourishes and stuff, and it is absolute brilliance.
Is the audience liking live? Are they liking Bird in the Rain?
Bird in the Rain's a big one. Yeah. Bird in the Rain was a bluegrass tune in my head when I wrote it. And of course, when you take a bluegrass tune to Muscle Shoals, it tends to not be bluegrass anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
In the best of ways.
It gets adjusted. Yes.
Yeah. So
But that's why you went. That's why you went.
that's exactly why I went, man. And that's what I'm saying. There's no other place you could go to make. For me, I'm sold on it.
I just want to say, have you ever sung better?
No, I haven't. It's crazy. It's like I think I'm a slow learner when it comes to certain things, but in life, but also it's it gets stronger as I get older. It's the craziest thing. Like everybody's like starting to ask me, do you have to tune these things down when you go? I'm like, no. Sometimes I got to go up a step. Like when I'm doing Bird in the Rain live, I move it up a step, a whole step. And then heavy on the humble, it has to go up a step. It's like, it's crazy. But yeah, it's a real blessing to get to sing for people.
A couple of things, I'll let you go. Do you get a, because I get a complete sense that this is going to change your life yet again, and for the good, not for the bad. That you're going to double the size, triple the size of the people who know about you and follow your music, and it's just the power of Muscle Shoals. It's the power of the songs. It's the power of your voice. It's the power of you. We believe in you. That's
Well,
real.
that's Terry, you are so kind, man. I thank you for all the kind words and support you've shown me, and I'm just I'm so grateful to do what I do. It's it's I just it's just an amazing blessing that in spite of the ups and downs and whatever, it's like um and we got good news this week. We got it's cracked the top 10 in Americana this week, and it's number 2 in Europe on the charts. So there's a lot of company, good quality company in there I'm keeping too. So it's really great.
There you are. No Canadian dates yet, right? I got to ask that.
No, we had some stuff in October, and it was rubbing against a Spanish tour I'm doing, and so. But I'm hoping we can at least get over to BC and do something this year. I hope.
Yeah, well, I don't see you. I won't wait for you to get back to the Dream Cafe. It'll take a while. And the room's really busy too. You'd love this. You'd love the lineup for the room. Anyway,
That's great.
let me last question as a thought. I had the opportunity, and I discovered the album that he'd signed it. I had a chance to interview Roebuck, Pop Staples,
Wow.
and I had waited all my life to talk to him. And I asked him, "Tell me about your legacy, Pops. What's your legacy that you're leaving?" And he started answering. A tear rolled down his eye and stripped down his face and onto the palm of his hand. He caught it. He said, "I don't think I've done enough yet. I think I have still to go."
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
So, what's your legacy?
Well, ideally, they would look back on me and go, "Man, that's the closest we came to Pop Staples." Oh man, yeah, there'll never be another Pops. But um, I I want to be. I guess I'd like to be. I'm all about just making connections with people,
Sure.
and if I look back and said he connected a lot of people and made people not feel alone, made them feel some joy, made them think a little bit, But I'm in the business of connecting, so that would be it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll stay in touch.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, man.